It is Oscar Sunday. It is Podcast Sunday. It is a sunny day in Los Angeles. I'm wackadoodle. I'm a little tired. Got up in the middle of the night, did Fox and Friends, came back, grabbed a couple hours of sleep. We got a killer show. It's a great show. Later on, I got an awesome interview with Lisa Tate. She's one of the frequent contributors to LoftusParty.com. Last week we did our best of show. I was on the road. Before that we had Paul Hare on the show. It's fantastic. It's all coming together and I love it. We got the gypsy on the other end of the soup can and string. How's it going?
Very good. It's actually a sunny day in North Georgia and the first one we've had in over a week. I really thought we were entering the second flood.
I think it's everybody. I don't know, climate change, whatever you want to call it. I think everybody's having a rough winter. I know it's been...
I just call it rain.
Okay. Which is technically kind of a change in the climate. It's been crazy
but not the
cold.
Deadly kind.
No. It certainly isn't. It certainly isn't deadly. So... I just want to, a couple quick updates. As I said, later on we got a great, I really, really like Lisa. And you guys, when I, in the description of the LoftusParty.com, it says, for geeks and gamers and people who are into life, liberty, and the pursuit of some serious happiness. This is the geek part. I could have talked with Lisa we could have done an hour. Just on our love of Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. So just so you know, that's what's going on.
And Lisa also does a good job spreading some serious happiness. She's a very positive person.
She does. I didn't realize that she was into the car community and the classic cars and all that stuff. It's wonderful. It's a good time. Now, of course, we're going to talk a little bit this week about the Oscars. We're going to talk about Jussie Smollett. We're going to talk about Laura Logan. We're going to talk about North Korea, the Democratic field, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. All that stuff is coming up. We're going to be talking about Robert Kraft. We're going to be talking about R. Kelly. All of this will be in the show. And Gypsy, you've got some the inside scoop, and this is what I love about you and the incredible research you're doing, another project you're working on, a series of articles. We're going to get to all that good stuff. It's wonderful and good, and it's hopefully why people are digging the podcast. A couple of updates that I want to give you, and these are in no particular order. Okay, so I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Update number one: the Patreon is coming right along. We picked up a couple new Patreon people. I'm bad at this. I've never done this before. It's like the website, you guys. It's like the podcast. It's like the website. It's like all of it. I've never done this before. So I appreciate you being patient with me. One of the things that Patreon says to do is set a goal. I'm still working on the goals. I really am. Cause one of the things that I want to do, and it's I'm not a business guy. I tell jokes. I like to create. So I appreciate your patience. But in terms of goals, I'll just generally spitball some, to get some, for people like, Paul Hare and people like, the Gypsy over here and Rick who produces and Lisa for everyone who contributes to the greater good of the giant family of the LoftusParty.com, I want to get some money in their pockets. And then, as well, and this is not, I want to, grow awareness for the site. Now you guys are helping, you're doing your part, you're sharing the videos and you're subscribing and you're telling your friends about it. So that's great. I got to buy some old school ads. And then, and this is in terms of the priorities that I have to figure out. The other thing that I want to do is increase the quality of everything. The videos on the YouTube channel, the videos on the LoftusParty.com. I sat down with some people. It's always good to have people who have never been to the LoftusParty.com. They've never been to the website. They look, they give feedback. So the money's not going to be wasted. You guys have no idea how much guilt I feel about being on Patreon. It is weird. You can make the argument that it is like internet panhandling. However, I'm not I'm not running out and buying drugs with the money. It's all actually going to the thing, theloftusparty.com, and increasing the quality. So I just want to say I genuinely appreciate it. And I'm not wasting anybody's money. I'm not out in front of the internet 7-Eleven trying to score a 6-pack of Coors Light. Okay, so that's that. So thank you guys for that. Update number 2 is the Deplorable Show. Now, last week we did a best of. I was on the road, and it's why I love doing the interviews, because we can put that kind of stuff together. The Deplorable Show, it gives me faith in humanity. It gives me a hope for the country. We stopped in Albany, and it was very cold. Albany's a weird town.
My home.
Yeah, you have a very weird hometown there, Gypsy.
Thank
You have
you.
a very, I mean, architecturally speaking, there's some of the most beautiful. The state capitol, the Capitol building, is absolutely gorgeous. You go around corner after corner, and you're like, look at that, and then you have these giant monstrosities in the middle. I don't know when the last time you were back, but these things look like they were built in the 70s.
Oh, they've been there my whole life. We have our own little twin towers there.
There's like 4 little.
The state museum's pretty funky. Yeah.
It just looks like something out of the Eastern European old Soviet giant, just like these giant monoliths of poured concrete. It was horrible. Those buildings, I hate them. This postmodern, I can't stand them.
Yep.
But a lot of the stuff was beautiful. And we performed in this place called The Egg. Are you familiar with The Egg?
I am very familiar with The Egg, and it looks like a half an egg.
Yeah.
From the outside, yes.
And it was a really weird, really odd space. Like once you were inside it, it was great, but not a fan of The Egg. Be that as it may, the show was fantastic. A boatload of people came out. We had an awesome time, and
because
then we went on.
Upstate is not the city.
Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun to talk to people in Albany after the show. Cause they kept apologizing. They kept apologizing, for what Cuomo's doing, and it's just, and all you can say is you guys are the absolute, you're the best example of why you need an electoral college, because the state of New York is run by Manhattan. And what's good for Manhattan ain't good for the rest of the state. So that's why we have an electoral college, so that doesn't happen on a grand scale. So, just quickly, I'm gonna bang this out as fast as I can. Cleveland. So we were down in the Playhouse Square in Cleveland. That was insane. So the crowd was really big in Albany. It was huge in Cleveland. And wow. And that city, Playhouse Square is fantastic. A boatload of people came out. The audience response was just nuts. It was just nuts. And we got video of all this stuff. I'm not allowed to release it yet. They're being very careful about where they're doing it, and there's a bunch of considerations to be made, but I cannot wait for people to see the Cleveland show. And then Nashville. Holy cow. Holy
Nashville.
Cow. It was, well, there was some heartbreak there. Listen, the show was nuts. So much fun. And it's fun to watch everyone like get their sea legs, like the Deplorable Choir. It's legitimately, it's like these 3 girls from Texas who got together, like literally, and made these songs, put them on the internet, and now they're starting to like get their stage legs. And Terrence Williams is bringing it. Now here comes the sad part. Sad part number 1, Brian Hayner and Steve Mudflat McGrew and we went out to at like after the show. We do the meet and greet. Met a bunch of great people. Everyone had a blast. Completely nutso bonkers. So then we decide, you know what? Even though we have early flights the next day, we're in Nashville. We gotta go see, some great live performances. I
Broadway.
don't I don't know when you were in Nashville last, but oh my goodness, we went down to like the big, like the main drag.
Yep, Broadway.
Oh, it was awful.
You're
It
kidding.
was just, no,
Last
no,
time I
it was,
was there, 2015 for the NRA National Conference, and it was
were you
great.
down, were you down there at night or during the day?
I was down there all the time. I mean, yeah, we were, one night a bunch of us went out and we were in the honky tonks until like 3 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Maybe it was just a bad night. It was a Sunday night.
Yeah,
We
probably.
were staying relatively close. We were literally right at the end of Printer's Alley, which I
Hmm.
just should have stayed there. I just should have stayed in Printer's Alley. We went down to Broadway and it was, listen, like hip hop's not my bag. There's some stuff that I like, but this was just, the streets and sidewalks were just full of drunk people out of control. The hip hop is blaring, and it's like it was so surreal because all the bars have like these honky tonk names. They have like these country names, and it's just like hip hop is blaring. DJs are making. It's like it
Hip
just
hop?
like there. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's weird.
I could hear zero country music,
When I was
zero,
there, it
and
was
it
kind of like a combination of country, and then kind of the more like Matchbox 20, Black Crows, that kind of music.
maybe it was listen, I'm not kidding. Maybe it was like a specialty night. Maybe it was like Hip Hop Sunday or something. I'm not even
Maybe.
kidding. And I really, I don't want people to think that I don't hate hip hop. Like some of it's great. Some of it's fantastic. However, when you go to Nashville, there's an expectation of, oh, there'll be country music. It's like, it's
Your
like if you
brain
went to,
kind of went
yeah, right. It just, there was
disconnect.
like a disconnect. It was like being in a Twilight Zone. It
Yeah.
would be like going to, like Disney World, and suddenly the entire park is about zombies. You're like, not to say not to say
Disney
hip hop people
zombies.
are
I kind of
zombies,
like
but it's
that.
like that weird disconnect.
Yeah.
So that part kind of bummed me out because Brian Hayner, and not to take away from what anyone else is doing, Brian Hayner's like a phenomenal guitarist. You guys have no idea. You have to come out to see a show. He is he's good buddies with Peter Frampton.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. So and he's played on some records that you've definitely heard, and it's all fantastic. Now I'll do this last update, and then I swear we're going to jump into some actual news and some politics and all that other wonderful stuff. Terrence, Terrence K. Williams. He's on the Deplorable Show. That's how I met him. He's got a huge social media presence. Uh, we hung out together for a really long weekend. When we were performing together at Mar-a-Lago. He's just a great kid. He's just a great kid, and I don't want to talk out of school about this guy. But he's now starting to talk about it on stage. He had a rough childhood.
Hmm.
He had a rough one. There was a single mom, there was drug abuse, there was foster homes, and he's been on his own for a long time. And he's a fierce defender of the American dream, of capitalism, of this country. He loves President Trump, and he's doing it. He is the embodiment of the American dream. Like, pick yourself up from the bootstraps. I really, really like this kid. I care about him deeply. I enjoy his company. I like his videos. I legitimately don't have a bad thing to say about this human being. He got invited to the White House, last weekend,
Hmm.
and
For the Black History Month.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a very cool thing. He's got a very funny joke about it. You know, he's like going to the White House for Black History Month. He will invite some white people to go with him, but they have to agree to like carry his bags. You know, it's like that kind of thing. Uh, so he's in a Lyft or in an Uber, and I don't know how the accident happened, but I saw the pictures of it. He got crashed into pretty darn good. So he's in a hospital in DC. He's got a fractured neck and some fractures on his spine. He's got all the feeling in his fingers and toes.
Oh,
He's
that's
able
good.
to get up and walk around, but he's still in a neck brace, and so he's not at 100%.
He's not going to be in the next couple shows, maybe?
God bless him. He's like, I will see you in Evansville. I will see you in Evansville. I
Oh,
will see you in Dubuque. And I'm like, dude, you
dude,
got to
get
take a knee.
well.
Like I herniated a disc,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not even a fracture. That's just like some of that little jelly between your spinal those discs. A little bit of that just like squirt, and that was enough. That was enough. I was down for the count for like 2 weeks. I can't imagine dealing with fractures. So
Well, as a survivor of a really bad accident who didn't have fractures, dude, stay in bed, do what your doctor says, don't worry about the book.
yeah,
Promise.
yeah, take take a knee. So I don't think he's going to be with us this weekend in Evansville and Dubuque. And I really, honestly, I don't even want him to try. I don't even want him to try. Like you get on a plane and there's turbulence and you get like no,
No.
no. So we're sending out thoughts and prayers to Terrence.
Oh, we'll just
Holy
send
smoke,
fake hugs.
that was a lot of stuff. That was a lot of stuff. I'm looking at my clock. We ate up a lot of time. So, just really quickly, we'll flip flop it. We'll do entertainment first, and then we'll close out with politics because entertainment is not going to take long.
I
The
think
Oscars are tonight.
the only Oscar nominated picture I've seen is Black Panther. So I got
Same
nothing.
here. Same here. I got nothing. I
I
got
got
nothing
nothing.
too. All I can glean from it is if you look at the nominees, it's like Black Panther, Black Klansman, Green Book. There's a lot of learning I think we're supposed to do as a culture. That was the joke that I was doing on
Yeah.
Fox and Friends this morning. I think
Yeah,
this is this is a learning year for the
I'm not
Oscars.
gonna pay to learn when I want to pay to be entertained.
I am saying that. Yes. And if you are going to teach me something, you better bury that message in such a great story that I don't even know I'm learning. You have
Super
to you
deep,
have to
yeah.
put so much sugar on that spoon. I cannot taste the medicine. You got to put so much cheeseburger on that pill that me being a dog person, I can't taste
I
it.
swear to
I
God,
don't know.
why do you honestly think Gen X is so freaking libertarian and just like leave us the heck alone? Star Wars.
I really, I think you're absolutely right. I
Mm-hmm.
think you're absolutely right. And that goes to the politics being downstream from pop culture.
Yep.
That is, there's such a great, and that's a timeless, in Star Wars, this is great. This dovetails perfectly into the discussion, that I have with Lisa and Tolkien. Star Wars was just a great myth. It's just a great myth. It's King Arthur, it's Greek mythology, it's all that stuff. It's just a good story. One person can overcome yada yada yada, and I think you're right. I think that had a huge impact on Gen X, and now we're reaping the millennials who came up with like the Care Bears and
I know.
uh, Teletubbies, and you can't do it alone. You can only do it if you're part of a team, and caring is sharing. And legitimately,
And that's
that is the
why
birth of socialism. We
that
are we are reaping what we have sown.
that's why millennials were on Team Iron Man and Gen Z was on Team Cap.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And I think that whole, I will still say, swear to God, Infinity War is the most pro-life movie I've ever seen. Like in general
yes,
entertainment.
yeah.
Everybody's fighting the guy who wants to control the population. I love it.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And you know what? Here's how stupid I am. That never even occurred to me. That never even occurred to me. And that's
Oh,
just such an awesome. That's a strong, strong point. Yeah,
well,
that's what
I've
Thanos is
always called
doing. Is
Thanos the love
population
child
control.
of Tom Steyer and Cecile Richards. Yeah,
With his
that's
ball
what he
sack
is. He's an
chin.
environmentalist and a population control geek.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the villain. I think that's awesome.
That, yes, he is. And you know what else? The
What?
the other wonderful thing about it is like he truly believes what he's saying.
Oh, yes.
Just like the Planned Parenthood people, just like the dude in
The
Virginia and
socialists.
the state of New York. They're like
Mm-hmm.
they believe it.
Oh,
They believe
yes.
it, and you'll see it'll be better. It'll be
With a
better.
near religious fervor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys, we have a great show for you. We're gonna get to my interview with Lisa Tate, who's phenomenal. You're gonna love her. I had a great conversation with her. And then on the other side of that, we're gonna talk some politics. We have to talk about Jussie Smollett. We gotta talk about Laura Logan, North Korea. We gotta talk about socialism and all this wonderful stuff. It's a great, great show. You got a good one. You got a good one. Here's my interview with Lisa Tate. Okay, as promised, we've got an ongoing set of interviews with what I like to call the LoftusParty.com OGs. A couple weeks ago, Paul Hare, we were talking to him. Have Lisa Tate with us. Lisa is broadcasting from somewhere in North America. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes,
Can you hear
we
me?
made it.
Okay. Yes.
I can.
It seems like just
Our two
yesterday.
cans and piece of string is working.
Cool. But you can't hear me?
Yes. Fantastic. Now, you have you brought balance to the force, I guess, with the LoftusParty.com. It's one of the things that I really, really dig about the site. I love the whole geek culture aspect of the site. I like what you're doing. I love what Paul is doing. I love what I bring. And as people discover the site and they're starting to interact more, it's awesome. So I'll tell you, gentle listeners, right now, Lisa and I are gonna geek out a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit geeky. A couple things. Lisa and I are big Studio Ghibli fans. If you don't know who Studio Ghibli is, well, prepare to go to school for a little bit. And I understand, Lisa, you're also a big Tolkien fan.
Huge. I'm quote unquote one of those. I actually love Tolkien.
I am too, and I actually have my first tattoo picked out, and it's gonna be there's a couple things that I want the tattoo of, and I got to do it. But my first, I think the first one that I'm gonna get, I'm gonna tell you two things. It's from Tolkien, and it will be in Elven. So that's what a geek I am for this thing.
Are you gonna get the not the little 9 that all the original cast members had? Are you? Do they have the little?
No.
Good, because.
This is something of my own design, but it will feature Elvish script, and it will also feature the Tree of Gondor.
Oh wow!
I'm not even kidding.
Wow!
Yeah, I've saved all these images from Pinterest. I put the whole thing together.
I always like the Rohan images.
Yeah,
Those
they're
are
good.
always my favorite.
They're really good stuff. Okay, so I want to get caught up. Here's like some basic, not some basic questions, but like here are some things that I want to know. What's the last really great movie you saw?
The last really great movie I saw back in the theater.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It can be it can be theater, it can be Blu-ray, but what did you see where you were like, damn, that was impressive. That was original, that was good, I enjoyed it.
Oh man. And it's sad, I've been really bad about getting out to the theaters. I I mentioned animation with the Oscars coming up. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on big screen is probably one of the prettiest things in a while.
Now, I
And
missed that one. I didn't see that, and I'm bumming. I'm kicking myself. It looked like a cash grab from Sony. It looked like they were hitting the ATM. They were
yeah,
just churning out. But I heard great things about that movie.
my initial impression was that too because, there's been jokes. It's like, okay, how many Spider-Mans now? We've gone through the 3 with Tobey Maguire, and then and now we're up to Tom Holland. I can't remember the guy in between, and now they did the other ones that are Miles Morales, by the way, who was created by my favorite comic book writer, Brian Michael Bendis. So
Oh wow!
that's one reason I wanted to see it, because I love Bendis' writing, and it's really impressive. Even if you don't like the Spider-Man universe, it's amazing to see what they did visually and blend these styles of animation. I mean, as far as artwork, it's just wow. And I'm somebody that doesn't give a rat's behind about whether there's girls or whether there's boys or whether there's people of whatever color skin, from green to blue to black to white. I want a good story, and that's all I care about, and that's all anybody should care about when they're writing. Story.
Well,
And
I
think it did. I think it did it right.
you just nailed it on the head. As fate would have it, I thought it was a really smart joke. I was on Fox and Friends this morning, and we were talking about the Oscars,
Mm-hmm.
and the girl who's playing Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel, whatever, in the new Marvel movie,
Originally,
Brie
Captain Marvel.
Larson was like. She's like, I don't want a bunch of guys interviewing me. It's all, blah, 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 girl power. And then I'm a huge Tolkien fan. I'm like right off the shelves in terms of geek culture and Star Wars as well. And with Kathleen Kennedy and the people from Star Wars, they have a story that sucks, and then they wrap themselves up with, it's because you can't handle a strong female character. So I told this.
That was annoying to me.
It's so annoying. I did this joke on Fox and Friends today.
And it's I love
they've never
strong female characters. I love Princess Leia since I was 7. There've always been girls in Star Wars.
My goodness, there's always been powerful women in Hollywood.
Yeah.
My God, freaking Gone with the Wind.
Yes, and
Gone with the Wind, for Christ. The Alien franchise.
My thing is this: don't hide behind people being mean to you because you didn't write a good character. I don't care what gender they are. And they brought in characters in the latest Star Wars that look like we're just going to throw these in here. And there's nothing wrong with Rey. And to me, it was my biggest gripe with Force Awakens was books and books and books and books of Star Wars I've read over the years. It's like, wait a minute, where's Mara Jade? Where are the Solo twins? Why are you killing Han? And that was my biggest gripe. But I figured they were going a different direction. And it looked like it was going to be okay. And then when Last Jedi came out, they just threw characters in there that didn't need to be in there, and they screwed up Poe. And I don't know. My reasonings were they just did not put that movie together.
Well, here's, and I'll tell you exactly why. Here's my reasoning on it. When J.J. Abrams was putting together Star Wars: The Force Awakens, he got the art department together, and they put together all these really cool visuals. And so he wrote a script that would incorporate these certain visuals. And I'm like, dude, you were wrong from Jump Street. You were wrong from Jump Street. You need to write a great story, and then the great visuals will follow. You don't reverse engineer that. Well, yes, I can say, like when the bad guy from the Empire is addressing the troops, and it's this big, like, Nazi Germany in outer space thing. Yes, that looked cool, and it's cool for the trailer, but like, it ultimately it was hollow. When I was watching the movie, it meant nothing. It meant nothing. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like it. They're ruining Star Wars. And then I want to get to this too, because, I'm a big capitalist guy and yada yada, but they're, in my opinion, they're about to ruin, Tolkien. They're about to ruin
Yes.
the Lord of the Rings. I'm really, really worried about, now that's Amazon, right? Amazon is,
Amazon Prime, and I have really enjoyed what I've seen on Amazon Prime. Anyone who knows me knows, I'm a huge car nut. I write for that. I'm one of the geeky contributors to Drive Tribe community, and I love Grand Tour, and I love what they did with the reboot of the Tick. I thought that was right, and I'm looking forward to Good Omens, but it's like, nah, it's like leave Lord of the Rings alone, please. I, and I don't know if you guys are going to do it right. I'm a little
well,
worried.
yeah, I'm worried too. And just as a little bit of a backstory, so everybody's on the same page. And I'm also worried about this Tolkien biopic that's coming out.
Yeah,
Tolkien went.
I'm more optimistic about that one.
It'll that should be fun, but the thing is, it's weird, and I have such an affinity for the guy. Tolkien went out of his way in the preface to Lord of the Rings to say this isn't an allegory. This has nothing to do with World War I or World War II. It's just a
yeah,
great story. That's all it is. It's not
yeah,
about anything, but it's a great story. It's not about Hitler. It's just a great story.
yeah. And even as, and I'm a, I'm not ashamed to admit I'm a huge Christian, and even as a huge Christian, I appreciate what Tolkien did, but he didn't pull a C.S. Lewis, and I love C.S. Lewis. He didn't pull a C.S. Lewis and say this is going to be a symbol of Christianity. It's not. It's a story, and it's a great adventure. And yeah, everything in his past is going to influence him, but he
Yeah.
wrote it as a standalone. It's a story, and he just wants to bring you into that world.
Yeah. Now here's what I've done a little bit of research into this because I was so heartbroken when I found out that Amazon was going to go ahead with some bizarre prequel thing. So Tolkien, the only reason he sold the movie rights to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings is because, it's back in the 1950s, 1960s, and those movies were so epic. They're on such a grand scale. He knew they could never be filmed. He just knew
Yeah.
you can't do it. So ha ha ha, the laugh's on you. Now we enter the world of computers and computer animation and blah 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 blah. So now we have those movies. But Tolkien is dead. His son
Yeah.
Christopher, who is the guardian of the estate, and
Yeah, he's
did the
90 seasons now?
well, so he did The Fall of Gondolin and all these other unfinished manuscripts. So he's in his 90s, and he knows he's on his way out. He's about to go to the great mystery. So he puts together a board of trustees.
Yes.
He puts together a board of trustees to make sure that no one can go in and pillage his dad's estate. And so he puts together this board of trustees. They all agree. And then the moment Christopher Tolkien leaves the room, they undercut him. They voted. They went behind his back. They threw him under the bus. And it's just extremely disheartening. It's just such a bummer.
Yeah, that leaves a bad taste. It really does. And the thing is about as far as prequel, well, there actually is a written prequel to everything that happened. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I don't know what direction they're going to try to take.
Evidently, the word on the street, what I've been hearing from my sources at Hollywood, is it's not the Silmarillion. It's going to be the appendices to Lord of the Rings. It'll be young Aragorn running around with the Rangers and trying to find Gollum and yada yada yada. So it'll kind of be, I guess, the equivalent of Gotham.
Okay. I know I've heard you and Stacey argue about this. I actually enjoy them. There are some characters I can't stand on it, but I love some of the other character development. But But
I just didn't have the patience for it.
well, it started out. Bruce is actually growing a pair. He's coming into Batman really well, but the development of Penguin and then Riddler is probably my favorite. This complexity, and then they have this whole weird, almost evil boy band of villains, and each one's just a new level of crazy. Zaz is depicted great, and Mad Hatter is great, and it's just fun to watch the villains. And the guy who is Joker, who they aren't calling Joker yet, is phenomenal.
Yeah. Now, what are you excited about the new Joker movie coming out?
It depends. It depends. I think Joaquin Phoenix is a fantastic actor, and I think if anybody can play that level, it will. Joker's my favorite villain in any comic book of all time, and he always has, because Batman. I'm Batman's my favorite. No matter who comes out new, I'm always going to love the old Batmans, and that's why it makes me so mad when they overuse him and they keep reusing him and rebooting him and giving it to Affleck and ruining him. but I think he's going to do great in it. But then I keep hearing they're bringing all this political anti-Trump, anti-this. It's like, why can't you guys just make it a movie about this crazy villain who's doing great, crazy things, and just leave that out for once.
That is the thing that I just can't get past, and it's almost like the secret sauce in my now. And you could look at my track record and go, what screenplay have you written? What great novel have you written? However, the way I base everything that I do if I'm working on a sitcom, if I'm working on a screenplay, and this is for the writers out there. The point where I start is, what if this was real? What if this was real? And usually that's when you get your best results. Like Batman Begins, the whole Christopher Nolan, like you can tell he started off from a point of, what if this was real?
Oh,
and that's where you lose me. When you just, like with the Justice League, it's like, oh, okay, it happens because it'll look cool. He'll say this because it'll sound cool. It's like, no, you lost me. That's not real. It's not reality.
Yeah, Batman wanted to bring up the doomsday clock and climate change, and maybe that's an issue for the writer, and that's good if that's their issue. I don't mind, but Batman wanted to do it. I thought it was so. They just made him so out of character.
Right, and it's like, why? Like with Justice League, why is Batman out rounding up superheroes? Why does Batman want to kill Superman in Batman versus? It's just they lost me. It was horrible. It was hot garbage. I feel bad for the franchise because, like you, Batman's my guy.
Yeah. They're ruining him. They're overusing him. But that's, I think, what I kind of liked about Gotham is I always read. I liked the comic GCPD. And I like seeing a focus on Gordon. I think, oh my gosh, my mind just went blank. The one in the Nolan, Gary Oldman. I think he was one of the best Gordons.
Oh yeah.
I thought he did a fantastic job. But the young Gordon's great in this, and it's cool to see how he's kind of coming on his own. I don't know what they're doing with that Barbara character. That's
I checked out. I checked out after season 1. I tapped out.
The villains get better. Watching the development of the villains is great. And then they brought in Fish Mooney was pretty good, but then they got rid of her, and I think she would have been in this one because she started getting nuts. And I love that level of nuts in the villains. I think that's kind of my guilty pleasure, is just watching the crazy.
Yeah, that's always a good time. And then I hear that there's an Alfred project in development.
I'm kind of looking forward to that because it might be James Bondy. And then that's another one in Gotham. Sam Pertwee, who is the son of the third Doctor in Doctor Who, is Alfred in Gotham, and he is just badass. I mean, you really like Alfred. In Gotham, but I think they're trying to make it kind of the young years where you got to see just how Alfred be as tough as he is in a lot of the movies.
Yeah. I you know what? I'll give it a shot, but I'm always going to come back to, where's Batman?
Yeah.
Listen, if I'm going to watch Gotham, I want to see Batman. Now, while I still have you here,
Okay.
do you have any, fan theories on Avengers Infinity War about how that's going to play out?
I do, but I don't think it's the direction they're going to go. I think Doctor Strange knows what he's doing. Listen to him. I think the whole thing with this is the only way. I think he's the one who figured it out. My biggest gripe right now with Marvel is, like they're pushing the Captain Marvel thing and they want this character. So they should have waited till after Endgame to bring her in and then start a whole series with it. Because when you read, the Infinity Gauntlet and the whole series, Adam Warlock, for you purists, and a lot of people are always ticked off, don't bring in Adam. He said, yeah, he's the one who basically saved him. And it looked like they were going to bring him in at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy because she said, I created this man, and it's Adam. Remember the postscript? I said, oh, well, this is it. We're bringing in Infinity. Adam's coming, and he's going to turn everybody back in time. And, anybody who's read it knows what happens. Everybody that disappeared at the end of that's coming back, obviously. But I don't want them bringing in Captain Marvel to save everybody.
It's horrible.
Because she knew. I want her to. If you guys want to create her and push her, bring her in after this happened. If you really want to make it for the movies only, let the original five or six Avengers, including, you got Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor, all the original ones, they're still living. Let them come together and be the saviors. Bring it back to the originals.
Exactly.
And then
I'm with
go
you
on
on
to
that.
your next generation,
Yeah, don't introduce a new character in the last chapter of the story to save the day. That would absolutely drive me the bonkers. Okay, so I know you do wonderful stuff at theloftusparty.com. You're doing great stuff there. Where else can people find your work?
Well, I've been writing for probably about 4 years now for Geek Mom. And we're all across the political spectrum and everything. I am apolitical in all of my writing and stuff. I like pushing creativity. You can see me there.
I love it.
I've been doing my local. I've been doing the arts and entertainment scene here in the Southwest, where I've been writing for about 20 years. And this is the main places online. You can catch me on Geek Mom. If you're into cars at all, so you can follow me on Drive Tribe. I've got a little small tribe there, which is arts and crafts, and then the literate petrolhead, which is I just like to share books that car lovers might like, and then crafts and creations and stuff that people have upcycled with things. Anyone who follows me on Twitter, at least in Geek Mom, knows my whole shtick is.
That's fantastic.
Creativity. I want to see what people are doing out there, and I want to share it.
I dig it. We dig people who draw. We dig people who make music. We dig people who create. And Lisa, I'm so glad you were able to join us. Lisa, the Geek Mom, make sure you're following her. Go to all the wonderful outlets that she's involved with, including theloftusparty.com. Lisa, have a great day. We're gonna have to circle back. We're gonna have to circle back so we can bitch about Infinity War and all that other stuff.
Any time now, I figured out how to use the microphone properly.
I love it.
I'm terrible with Skype. So, but yeah, anytime. It's been a blast.
It's all good. We'll do it again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I like her. I like that Lisa Tate. Good people.
Her. I take credit for her.
I tell you, keep going, keep finding them. I love it. We've got some. The website's going wonderfully. The website's going wonderfully. I'm not going to put the cart before the horse, but things are clicking along, and there's some sunshine on the future.
Apology?
Say what?
Can I tender an apology to some people who subscribed and there was a functionality in the site that I didn't know about?
Oh, tell me.
I actually had to approve you to be able to post, so I went through and approved like 300 people.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
Gypsy, what have you done?
Well, I didn't know you had to do that. I thought once you signed up, you could post.
Oh my gosh.
I've never
Hey,
not had an account, so I didn't realize. So I went in and gave everybody the correct status, and I'm going in twice a week now to give any new people the correct status. So within a couple days of subscribing, you'll be able to post.
I am so conflicted right now. I'm
You want
so
to kill
conflicted.
me, and you're like, okay, glad you found it.
Yes, that's it in a nutshell.
I'm
I,
so
I
sorry.
want, I want to smack you upside the head. However, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Like, I'm like, wow, why aren't people digging this? Why aren't they doing it? We weren't letting them in. I'm sorry, you guys.
It's
I'm
all
not
my
laughing
fault.
because it's horrible.
It's all my fault. I thought it was just locked and loaded, and once you subscribed, there you were.
Oh, you know what? You're in so much trouble.
I
You're
went in
in
and
so
looked and I went,
much
oh
trouble right
crap.
now.
All
Oh,
fixed. All
oh,
fixed.
this. Okay, so we fixed it. We're good.
Hmm.
Can Paul listen? You guys, we're now literally talking shop on the podcast. Can Paul do this too? Can Paul approve
Yes, Paul
people?
can, I believe.
Okay, so if you're checking a couple times a week, maybe Paul can check a couple times a week.
Hmm.
And oh my gosh, I feel horrible. I feel horrible. Because
You know how horrible
here I
I
am
feel?
I'm inviting these people like, all you guys, all you have to do is sign up and you're good to go. All you have to do is sign up. And they were doing it. You know what? Here's how I'm going to look at it. Here's how I'm going to look at it. Gypsy of the, slapped head. It's all
That
good. We've
hurt.
discovered it. We, we, we've discovered it. We've remedied the situation. So now we're good to go. Now we're good to go.
We were new
When
at the
did, when did
Maven.
when did you
Never did the
realize your
Maven
mistake?
before. So,
Say what?
well, we just never did that platform before. So, like, when we had the previous website, all you did was register and you could comment on the articles and whatever. I never had to approve anyone before. That
Yeah.
was new when we moved.
Well, hey, listen, we can't go back in time and everyone, this is like, I'm learning it as you're learning it right now in this moment. So I am conflicted. I feel horrible for the people who've been trying to post and trying to post. However, now it's been fixed. We can only move forward. We can only move forward. But you know how excited I am right now?
Yeah, no, like I said, it didn't come with an instruction manual.
But
So
here's the deal.
I
Here's
figured
the
it out.
exciting part. Like, I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna beat you up over this. Here's the exciting part. It, Now it's like the floodgates are opened.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's all. Well, it's not wonderful, but it's all. Ooh, now I'm super excited to see what'll happen. To see what'll happen.
Well,
This is
because
great.
like
My
we've got
apologies to everybody.
some great super fans, like our friend Mark Abney from Facebook, right?
Yeah.
He's always been there and been commenting and whatever. I'm like, why isn't Mark saying anything? Now I know why, and now he can.
Okay. All right. So it's again, I apologize to everybody, but like I was at the top of the show, you guys, like I've never done this before. I've never done this before. So I sincerely apologize, but welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, everybody. Okay, we got to get to some politics. I don't want to run out of time. We'll keep it fast and we'll move right along. I think the big one between they kind of go hand in hand is the Jesse Smollett thing and Laura Logan from 60 Minutes. It's wonderful to watch the rest of the world catch up. And this is something that Gypsy, you and I have said on this show since we've started.
Hmm.
We've always been like ahead of the curve. We've always been ahead of the curve. And in talking about the media, and you can go back and look at the YouTube channel and listen to old episodes of this podcast. And the rest of the world is catching up to us. When you have a 60 Minutes, like we had Cheryl Atkinson on the show and she was saying it's now, there's no denying it, the left runs the media. The media is biased. They just, that is the mainstream media leans to the left. You cannot deny it. And now even more and more journalists are saying it. So I guess I
Did
don't
you
feel good
see?
about it, but
Did you see the montage? There's a video service out there that like websites and stuff can use. It's called Grabian. Did you see the
uh-uh.
montage of the Jesse Smollett commentary when Brian Stelter and all those other mainstream folks were saying, "Well, it, we wanted and needed to believe that because we were compassionate." No, you wanted and needed to believe it because it fit your narrative. Here, look at this video. I mean, and the video was
Yeah.
pretty great.
It's I'm gonna need to see that. I definitely want to see it, but it's like, how can you? Isn't there a third one? Because you've got like the Covington Catholic school kids, where
Kavanaugh.
that Kavanaugh, yeah, that
Mhm.
that fit the narrative. Got to go get them.
Mhm.
The Covington kids fit the narrative. Got to go get them.
Mhm.
Jesse Smollett fit the narrative. Got to go get them. Got to go get them. And it's like, how many times are these morons gonna burn their hands on a hot stove before they learn? And they still don't. It's and it's like they all got the same pamphlet to watch them pivot. And once I say this, you'll hear it, and you probably have heard it already. But it's like you'll have the interviewer talking to a reporter. Well, it seems like the media overreacted. It seems like it was kind of a rush to judgment. They go, well, it was, but these hate crimes, there are a large number of. They pivot so fast. They don't lose a breath. They go right to, yes, we're wrong, but there are a bunch, and it
Well,
just drives me crazy.
the
It's
the
like
Southern
trying to
Poverty
nail
Law
Jello
Center.
to a wall.
Well, the Southern Poverty Law Center dropped their annual report. That killed me. Did you see that pile of garbage?
My tweet on that was along these lines. I want to make fun of these results. However, I don't want to be on the list. And it's
Right?
like, I,
No.
I want to
So
know.
so I mocked the crap out of them in 2017 because I looked at my racist southern state of Georgia, right?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
awful here. Do you know what our biggest problem in 2017 was? Nation of
A
Islam and
shortage of
other,
crispy chicken.
well, that too. Nation of Islam, and we had 14 black separatist groups. They were the largest single hate group category in the state of Georgia.
That's hilarious.
So I did a huge thread on it, right, last year because I love
Yeah.
making fun of them and I don't care if they put me on the list. So then I go to this year and we got more hate groups in Georgia than we did last year, so I start clicking through them. And I divide them down by category. Somehow we went down to 10 black separatist groups. And so I'm like, wait a minute. And I go back to 2014 or 2017. Now
Yeah.
there's only 10 on that map too. They manipulate their own maps. Because I have the screenshot from last year, there were 14. Now if you go to 2017, there's only 10. And there are
Well,
exactly 2 more hate groups nationally under Trump than the highest year under Obama. I already found 2 in Georgia they can take off the list. Then we're even.
yeah, that was my whole thing with like, what are they calling a hate group? Like, I don't even know what their parameters are. It's like, to me, and this is bad and dangerous, but like, to me, the Southern Poverty Law Center, they don't even exist. It doesn't
No.
even it's like Media Matters. Yes, they exist and they're up to no good and yada yada, but like, I don't want to devote. I'm glad you're devoting energy to it. I'm glad that I know you and that you know this stuff, because like now, like, knowledge is king. But like, I'm like, oh my gosh, do
No,
I
I'm
really have the energy to go through here and click and blah blah? Thank God you do.
Oh, I'm
Thank.
like insanely curious like that, and I'm roasting them tomorrow because one of the new hate groups in Georgia is made up of families who have a victim of illegal immigrant crime in their family, some who've been murdered, so some of them are actually angel families, and they advocate for border security, support our customs and border patrol agents, et cetera, and are supportive of President Trump's immigration agenda. They're an anti-immigrant hate group, even though the only type of immigration they talk about at all is illegal immigration.
See, now I'm so glad you know that, because that's like what my gut would tell me. Like, that would be in there. Like, there's some people who are the victim of crime, and so they're anti-crime, and that now makes them part
I'm
of
going
the
to
Southern Poverty Law Center
roast
hate group.
them tomorrow.
That's madness. That's
Yep.
madness. That's like George. Seriously, it's like something out of a George Orwell or out of an Ayn Rand novel. People who are trying to do good who are now called evil. It's the worst. It's the worst, which is a great segue to the next thing. Like, I'm so happy and thrilled about this Nick Sandman, the Covington kid, and his family and their lawsuit. I love this lawsuit. I love
So
it.
do
I
I.
love it. I love it.
Here's a hint for the media and you bozos like Kathy Griffin out in Hollywood. Don't dox kids. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. And don't, like, you have to do the basic, the fundamentals of your job. If you're a reporter for like the Washington Post or the New York Times, there has to be repercussions for making this poor kid out to look like, the love child of Hitler and Thanos. Like, you can't do that. You're just not allowed to turn some poor kid into a villain when he did absolutely nothing wrong except for smile awkwardly. I want them to be in trouble. I want them to
So
be
do
in
I.
trouble. I want there to be a lawsuit. I don't know what the settlement's going to be. They've asked for 250 million, because I guess that's what his dude paid for the New York Post when he bought it. But like, it's just the idea of it. I want them to get dragged into court. I want them to at least get their noses rubbed in their poop. Whether they have to pay it or not, seriously, whether they have
Like
to
a
write a check or
puppy.
not, I don't care.
No, I mean, I had absolutely no problem with President Trump wishing young Mr. Sandeman well in his endeavors. Because remember, you guys, we all lived through 8 years of Barack Obama commenting on every contentious issue in the culture war that he possibly could.
Yeah.
And, turnabout's fair play. Turnabout is fair play. I'm tired. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of not punching back. And I'm literally going to start punching. These people are garbage. They're garbage human beings. Period.
Yeah, and it's great. You have to start, taking them to the mat, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the wonderful thing. That's the other wonderful side effect about Trump, is like, that dude is not afraid to fight. He is not afraid to fight. They teased us again with this whole Mueller probe thing is about to be over, but then they say it's not going to be over. Boy, am I
Another
ready for
thing I'm
that
sick
to be
of.
done. Say what?
So that's another thing I'm sick of.
Oh yeah, that's when we
Andy
look back at
McCabe
this
just needs to shut up.
people, seriously, I don't know if you saw the latest video I have on actually the latest one I did was Jesse Smollett, and then the one before that is Andrew McCabe. It's like, people need to get into trouble. This is
Yep.
another one where we have to call people out on this. It's what I said in the video, but it's like, I don't want any more congressional hearings on this, because nothing ever happens.
No.
But people need to get in trouble. It's like when Mueller wants to go after Manafort, he does it in like the New York, court or somehow. It's like, that's what the Republicans need to do with these Clapper, Comey, McCabe,
Mm-hmm.
all of them, all these dudes who just like go in and lie in front of Congress, and they lie and they lie, and they go on TV and they lie, and then, the internal investigation of the FBI says, no, McCabe, you're a bad apple, you gotta go. Like, someone needs to go to jail. Someone needs to get into trouble. Hillary Clinton with, destroying the laptop, and they're trying to
Did you see that?
adjust top secret stuff that was on Huma Abedin's laptop that Anthony Weiner had. Like, people need to get in trouble. We can't have two sets of laws. You were saying?
James Baker, the attorney for he was either in the DOJ or the FBI. He did some testimony in front of Congress, and it hasn't been made public, but a certain reporter was allowed to review it, and apparently he was prepared to charge Hillary Clinton. He
Oh,
felt what she
I
did.
have to
He
think they
felt what
were.
she did needed to be prosecuted. He was talked out of it.
How can how can you convince me, like, seriously, when that kid who's on board a submarine has one picture
Hmm.
on his computer and he goes to jail, you can't convince me that Hillary Clinton, Huma Abedin, and a whole slew of people didn't break the law. And that's the other thing with James Comey when he came out and did his famous thing.
Oh
There's
God.
no prosecutor in the land would go after this. Well, tell that to the kid on the submarine
Right?
because he's rotting in jail, but he got out. They got him out. Okay, a couple of other things. Bernie Sanders has entered the Democratic field. We have a huge field of Democrats now.
Did you see the Newsweek cover where they're all peeking through the window?
No, I didn't.
Oh my
I
God, go look
didn't.
at that on social media. It is so funny. Was it Newsweek or Time? But it has like every potential Democrat nominee peeking through the window in the Oval Office, like that one picture. You remember the one with Biden looking out?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the reverse of that with all of them looking in. It's
That's
hysterical.
hilarious. That's hilarious.
I was like,
so just really quickly of the ones that I can remember, just off the top of my head, like Bernie Sanders, he doesn't worry me. That he's just, I think his time has passed. I think people they love him for what he stood up for. He was the little guy going up against big mean Hillary Clinton. I don't know how well he'll do. The one that's really she scares me really is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, she that former prosecutor, she withheld evidence. A lot of people went to jail. She threw a lot of people in jail who did not deserve to be there. She came down, and it's the level of hypocrisy with her. How she went after the pot smokers, how she went after the people for marijuana charges, and then she's on some radio station or doing some interview talking about how much she loved to smoke pot and how it just brings people joy, and isn't that awesome? And it's like, man, her ability to shift gears like that, that's terrifying to me.
oh,
Like, I would not want to, if she was the judge and I was the defendant, I would tell my lawyers, we gotta get this trial moved. Cause
yeah.
she'll just do anything to lock you up and then smile and, oh, yeah, she's like Salem witch trial judge to me. It's that
No,
level.
she's tripping a lot, which I think doesn't bode well.
Well, I guess
Remember,
she
Biden hasn't
recently had
jumped in
a
yet.
rally where she turned out a lot of people. A lot of people showed up. I'm concerned
Yeah,
about her.
but I don't use her name. Our friend Dave Goss, do you remember Dave? He started TrumpSingles.com.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave.
He refers to her and always has in every conversation I've had with him since I met him at CPAC. He just calls her Willie Brown's mistress. So
Well, but that goes to the level of she will do
I
anything
know.
to win, right?
Yep.
She's like, who do I have to
Only
bang?
stepped up to
Who do I have
Obama
to
too.
bang?
Hmm.
So, who else is in there? I don't know. There was
Oh, Amy Klobuchar, the one that eats salad with a comb.
yeah, but you know what? That's like, in a weird way, that's endearing. That's
Yeah.
endearing. Cause she's like, who gets me a salad without a fork? And then she's like, nah, I'm gonna use a comb. And then she makes some lackey clean the comb. It's like, in a weird way. I find it, she was gonna eat that salad come hell or high water.
Um,
I don't think she's gonna be in there for long.
Liz Warren.
Another one who scares me. Literally, just like, this is my emotional reaction. Kamala Harris scares me. Elizabeth Warren scares me. Cause
I
she's
think her
like,
time has passed too. I think if she had run in 16, she would have beat Hillary in the primary.
yeah, and
Hmm.
I agree with you there too. But like, just her ability to keep going when they're like, you said you were an Indian. Oh, I never did that for personal gain. Okay, you did it to get a teaching job. Okay, but beyond that, I didn't do anything. Well, actually, you did it to get into law school. Well, and then she can just be presented with the facts and just keep going is,
Y-
ugh.
You know who my favorite is, though?
Who?
Well, I'm highly entertained by Cory Booker because I've never met a more earnest person in my entire life.
He's the worst actor ever.
I know. He's just so passionate all the time, and it's like,
I know.
Cory, take it down a notch. The one I love is Kirsten Gillibrand, simply because if you go back through her political history, she has held every position on every policy issue at some point in time.
Yeah.
Like, if you go back and look at how she voted, she got elected out of Albany, New York. She came from red New York.
Yeah.
And now she's all about abolishing ICE. Like, she's insane. And she's worse than Hillary. As far as authenticity, spontaneity, and presentation, oh my God, you can see the gears shifting as she figures out what she's going to do with her hands.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's, oh, I'm so glad you said that, because you just reminded me of a thing I wanted to do about, Beto O'Rourke. There's so much that I need to do. Listen, we've run out of time on this show. I'm gonna jump over to loftusparty.com, which evidently you guys can do now too. That Gypsy's figured it out. I'm gonna write a thing about the Oscars, and then remind me that I want to talk about how jealous is that Kirsten Sinema of AOC.
No kidding.
Right? Like, she comes in, she's the hot blonde, the first openly bisexual, yada yada, and now AOC is, right? She's sucking all the oxygen out of the room, and now you've got like this hot blonde cheerleader, like, why is no one looking at me? I think that's funny.
That might have been why she wore the thigh boots.
It might have been. Well, listen, I tell you what, I'm gonna encourage that behavior. I'm gonna encourage her to do whatever it takes in terms of her choice of outfits to get more attention. She's, I don't know, I find her strange, not strangely appealing. She's hot. I like it. We didn't get to Robert Kraft. I'm going to try to, gosh, there's so much to do today. I'm going to try to write a thing about Robert Kraft. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. But there's something nice in knowing that even like a billionaire, even a guy that successful, still has to like pay for a handy. It's like everyone has the same problems.
It wouldn't have been illegal if you just bought her a nice dinner.
Well,
saying.
It wouldn't have been illegal, but then seriously, I've thought about this a lot. But then now it gets very expensive. Like if he goes to, there's something wonderfully naive. Like he doesn't go to the high end call girl. He doesn't spend the $40,000 for the weekend. Now what that happens is, like, the $40,000 type girls, they're not gonna tell your secrets. But that's an expensive weekend, and you're like, man, I really just want this one little thing. And the shortest distance between 2 points is a massage parlor in Florida. And cause you don't, like, if you take her out and get in and buy her dinner, then she can maybe blackmail you. It goes to a really, so anyway, but we'll see what happens. He says he's not guilty. I don't want to get in trouble for talking out of school, but even the owner of the Patriots, and and he's a widower. The poor guy, shouldn't he get a free pass? He's a widower. He should get a free pass. Okay. That is the show. We have solved a big problem with the loftusparty.com. The Gypsy's very, very sorry. I didn't know, so I wash my hands of this, but Gypsy is going to write you all apology notes. She's going to start right now. She's got 300 of them to write. There's going to be an explosion. It's going to be so awesome. There's going to be a giant explosion at loftusparty.com. Thank you guys for your patience. You're awesome. Thanks for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thanks for your patronage on Patreon. Thanks for telling people about this podcast. Go to iTunes, give stars. You're fantastically awesome. And now you're allowed on the website. I'll talk to you next week.